Hey guys, Armando here from the Music Den. Just a quick message to you before we launch into our next episode. Don Brydopt, along with his brother Jeff, are co-authors of two books that I think you might be interested in picking up. Those books being Precious and Few, Pop Music in the Early 70s, and Night Moves, Pop Music in the Late 70s. You can pick these books up at your local bookstore. You can also pick these books up on Amazon. Now, for the following episode, grab some food, grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy our take on the Essential 70s playlist.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Music Den. And look what we have here. We have a five-headed beast to kind of talk about some, let's call it slices of perfection of the 1970s. Everyone say hello.
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 There we go. That was
Oh,
almost Three Stooges like. That was awesome. Yes.
yeah,
Mwah! So we
exactly.
are we are here collectively to make a pitch for and kind of wrangle with one another to see if we can build an essential 1970s playlist. Now, I blame Don Brightup for this specifically, and I
And we all
specifically blame
blame
him.
Jim for this. So,
No. I blame Don. I'm going to pass that all to Don because of these two wonderful books that he co-wrote with his brother Jeff. Precious and Few about pop music essentials in the 70s and night music, yes, of the late 70s.
Yeah, night
And
moves, actually.
Night Moves, thank you.
Right.
And that just got me thinking, it's like, wow, it might be fun to see if we can wrangle our way sort of through our own collective favorites or, you know, things that sort of define the decade to see if we can come up with one playlist to rule them all. So this is, I think, going to be kind of a combination of people's personal favorites as well as sort of, we'll call them Smithsonian type, milestones of music that sort of define the decade. And our end result is going to be some pretty bitchin' listening. That is my prediction, and I'm counting on my brethren here to not let us down. Don has a
yes.
question or a
I
point.
I will just interject and say that when my brother Jeff and I started writing those two books, I think if I'm thinking back, our original intention was to do some kind of ranked list that reflected our musical taste, which tends to be very similar. But once we got into it, we just thought we can't give short shrift to all this other interesting, weird, great, varied music. And so they turned into more of kind of a survey course of pop in the 70s. And we just bailed on the idea of ranking it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And so each person's list is, as I understand, not going to be ranked. It's just sort of we're each going to present 20 to the panel. And the way we're going to do this is that we have some amount of veto power, but it's going to be small. Did we agree, guys, on vetoing two or vetoing three? I think it's three.
I vote
Yeah,
three. Yeah.
yeah,
We're
we
going.
agreed. We silently agreed on three. How's that?
Okay, that sounds great. So we are just going to dig into this, and we are going to start with the person who usually goes last because he was brought up right by his mama, and that is going to be Mr. Venditti. So Armando is going to be first up on the chopping block to kind of state and make the case for his 20 songs and why he feels that they're part of an essential 70s playlist. And as we go along, if someone feels, a little like, nah, I don't know if I would call that essential 70s, they get they get a veto power. And I
Okay, so
think
that
we're gonna
brings
have
up just a procedural question. If someone's reading their list and you feel the urge to interject and or brandish your veto power, should you wait until the end, until the person's had a chance to spit out their whole list and just make a note that you want to debate one of the choices, or should we just be really mercenary and jump
I,
at the person with
Shout at them.
I,
Yeah.
I believe that for the purposes of efficiency, we wait to the end and then we.
sure.
Yeah, makes sense.
okay, Armando votes down the knives out approach.
Oh, I'm all for the knives out, but I can sort of I know when to use them. You see?
There we
And so,
go.
I mean, we can always just use them at the end, you know. Um,
Okay, so we're just going to have Armando start. He's going to go through his entire list, making his little brief spiel on why it should be there, and then once we're at the end, we will see if there's three of them that we feel just don't make the cut. So,
again, for the Sesame Street analogy, one of these things is not like the other. Here is my list. And again, as I said prior to taping, this list is just a list of songs that I personally love. You know, it's, you know, personal preference, obviously. Okay, 1970, If You Could Read My Mind, Gordon Lightfoot. For the Canadian contingency, I believe it's just a fantastic track. Uh, m- Melodical as all get out. Just a good use of acoustic guitar and symphonic strings on it, and it's just heart-wrenching for me. And
I
it's
just want to double check, Armando. Did you say melodical as all get out?
yes,
Awesome.
He,
yes,
Please
he was
continue.
being methodical and making up a new word.
yes.
I love it.
It's full
Well,
of melody. It is melody galore. Okay, and I warned you. I've had 3 sips of coffee, so and I've been up since 5. So deal with it. I just think it's a fantastic track. It's a classic, and it's a, you know, a very emotional song. And I think it's just a beautiful piece of work. And I this is why I picked it. Moving on to 1971, Roundabout. Yes. Hmm. From Fragile, just intricate, uh, also accessible, just a beautiful piece of work. Uh, Chris Squire's bass is undeniable on this piece, and it's a fantastic track. I just love it. Next, from 71, Led Zeppelin, Ballad of Evermore, from Untitled. Uh, Good use of acoustic guitar and mandolin. Wonderful vocals from Sandy Denny on this track. Thank you, Sughosh, for recommending that I listen to her albums, and I will. Uh, Again, I can't say beautiful enough. It's just a gorgeous piece of work. Up next, American Pie, Don McLean. It's American Pie. It's a great look at social events that happened in the news and just a look at society overall with the death of Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, and oh my God, the words are the names out of my mind right now. Um,
Richie
but
Valens, right?
Richie Valens, yeah, and it's haunting, you know, with lyrics like "Helter Skelter in a Summer Swelter," you know, about the Manson murders. Just very poignant track. Very lengthy track, 8 minutes and change. Next up, going into 1973, Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells. A very ambitious track, sidelong piece, part one, I should say. Just again, a very ambitious track, written when he was and recorded when he was 19. The fact that it's beautiful in its intricacies and just use of light and shade in terms of its different sections. And a little side note, if anyone out there watching wants to see a wonderful performance of this live, there is a performance of this done on the BBC featuring Steve Hillage and Mick Taylor, done in 1973, if you want to check that out on YouTube. Moving on here, 1974, we have Supertramp with Crime of the Century. Uh, I've always loved this track, very dramatic, very poignant. Beautiful piano, beautiful symphonic arrangements. What can I say? Trident Studios was guilty of having a very thin snare drum sound when they did the recordings. You know, albums from David Bowie. This is not the case for this track and this album. I think it's a wonderfully recorded album, sonically perfect, and this track is proof of that. Up next, 1975, 10cc, Nuit à Paris from the original soundtrack. Jim's favorite track from that album. And I mean that as a joke. Just art rock, art pop at its best. The fact that the track is separated into three sections, one in Paris, the same night in Paris, and later that same night in Paris. Just very intricate, very, again, melodical or full of melody, and just unique, just a very unique piece of music. Back to the Canadian contingent here. Tonight is a wonderful time to fall in love from April Wine from the album Stand Back. Just a beautiful melodic piece of writing from Miles Goodwin. Rest in peace, Miles Goodwin. I just love this track. It's a very innocent uh, piece of work for me in terms of it evokes innocence for me. Next up, I know that Queen's going to be mentioned on this list. The Prophet song from A Night at the Opera. Uh, People would think I would pick Bohemian Rhapsody. No. I love Bohemian Rhapsody. The Prophet song starts off side two, 8 minutes and 21 seconds. This is Queen at their bombastic best in terms of the arrangement of the track and the fact that the middle section uses a technique called fugue, where by the use of tape delays, they built harmony vocals, layering of harmony vocals, and it's just big, it's bombastic, it's Queen. Next up, we have from 1975, Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. I just love this track. It's a lot of rhythm guitar, heavy, really gutsy vocal delivery from Dan McCafferty, and the fact that they have in the chorus, "Now you're messing with this son of a bitch," which was the original title for the track, but A&M said we're going to switch that up. Up next, 1976, Boston, More Than a Feeling from the debut release. Uh, Brad Dove's vocals on this are just spot on. Overcharged and overdriven guitars from Tom Scholz, etc. aside, I think it's just a wonderful piece of rock music, wonderfully done. Up next, ELO with Telephone Line from a New World Record. Jeff Lynne, at this point in time with ELO, could do no wrong, being the main songwriter. Melodic as all get out, symphonic as all get out. This is where his love of the Beatles continues, and it's a very emotional song for me. Just very, very emotional, very beautiful. Up next, I have Genesis with Entangled uh, from A Trick of the Tail, track 2 on side 1. Jim, I'm going to ask you to use what do we say? Dripping with Mellotron? Yes, dripping with Mellotron. There you go.
Also
Just
dripping with 12-string guitars, as I recall
exactly,
correctly.
exactly. And it's just a wonderful track, wonderful arrangement, very intricate, but again, also very accessible. Phil Collins, I think, stepped in as lead vocalist and just made this track his own. And the fact that the keyboard passage on the end has a very eerie feeling to it, eerie quality. I almost feel like I'm watching a Dark Shadows episode when I hear that keyboard passage come in. Just very, very unsettling for me. Up next, I have Thin Lizzy with The Boys Are Back in Town from Jailbreak from 76. Uh, this is their breakout hit, their one and only, well, major hit in North America. Just a really good rocking track. And the two-prong attack of Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson on guitar, on lead guitar, just wonderful, wonderful. And the bass work from Phil Lynott is exemplary. Up next, I have from David Bowie, Wild is the Wind, from Station to Station, the Nina Simone cover. also done by Johnny Mathis. I think this is a beautiful song. I think it's an emotional vocal, a wonderful arrangement, and I can't even describe anymore how much, how much I love this track. I just wanted it on the list, and I'm going to continue here. Up next, Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Light, the ultimate teen angst song. Uh, Divvied up into three sections, Paradise, Let Me Sleep on It, and Praying for the End of Time. How many of us have thought that during certain relationships? There we go. Um, it's even the history of the track, the fact that the original track was 27 minutes long, and they wanted to record the 27-minute version of this piece. I think it's theater rock at its best, teen angst at its best. Wonderfully done, wonderful production by Todd Rundgren. Okay, 1979, Fleetwood Mac, Sarah from Tusk. Uh, just a wonderful track, beautiful use of brushes on the drums from Mick Fleetwood, a beautiful ethereal vocal done by Christine McVie. I've always loved Christine McVie, you guys know that. I just think it's a very emotional song, very evocative, very beautiful,
Point,
very haunting. Sorry.
point of order. Doesn't Stevie Nicks sing that song?
She does the lead vocal, but
Ah, gotcha.
Christy McVie does the vocal going into the, I guess you call it the bridge or the chorus, sorry.
Right.
Um, and to me, that's a very ethereal vocal that she does, very haunting. I've always loved her voice. I've always loved her voice. Up next, Gary Newman with Cars. Just uh, a very interesting track, again from the album The Pleasure Principle from 79. Uh, a look into the future as to where music was going. And if you see the video, he was just a very unique individual in terms of his presentation, in terms of the instrumentation that he decided to use in his music and still continues to use. This again to me, you know, showed where music was going. Up next, we have Blondie with Dreaming from E to the Beat from 79. And I just love this track. I just think it's a wonderful, ass-shaking piece of work. Great vocal from Debbie Harry. Thank you. You know, I was going to say it. And yeah, just a good piece of pop, new wave music. My list ends off with The Buggles, Video Killed the Radio Star. A very poignant track, very heartfelt track, very telling track as to what was going to happen in the future with regards to uh, music and the importance of videos in the late 70s into the 80s and beyond. And the fact that pretty much we've come full circle where we're back to focusing more on music. But I think that with the shutdown of like Much Music in Canada and MTV,
Yeah.
I think that this track is just a wonderful piece of new wave pop. And it's on many lists of favorite songs from that I've seen online. And I think it's very poignant too. And again, a very telling track as to what was going to happen with regards to uh, fluff over substance, with regards to videos over music, what was going to be considered most important. That's my list, guys.
Cool. That is 2 hours and 15 minutes of some awesome 70s stuff going on there, Armando. So now, now the challenge comes to see if there are folks on the panel who think that maybe some of these don't quite fit the criteria of essential. Don,
Why am I
point
not
point point of
surprised?
order, or did you
Yes.
want to go first?
Uh, yeah, I don't mind going first. Anyone else want to jump in? If not, I am really on the same page on with you, Armando, on a lot of stuff. I might quibble over what track to pick from Trick of the Tail or Crime of the Century or that 10cc record, that kind of
Hmm.
thing. But I'm gonna use my veto power
Uh-oh.
to take Meatloaf off the list for no other reason that I'm just so allergic to that music. I've hated it since it first came out when I was in high school. I think it might be the most overrated rock album of my lifetime. And as much as I'm a huge Todd Rundgren fan, it doesn't help me with Meatloaf. So I'm going to use at the risk of starting a fight, I'm going to use to take Meatloaf off.
Okay.
I'm
All
sure
right.
Armando will remember that when it comes time to
Oh
go to
yeah.
Don's list.
Oh yeah.
Um,
It will be on his tombstone.
it will be. How dare Don do that?
Okay.
Sughosh?
So there are a couple of tracks here that I'm not familiar with. So I guess it wouldn't be fair for me to use my veto on those. But the one I do know, and I feel like, it may have its place, depending on personal preference, but I don't think it should be there as, a representative of what was great in the 70s. And my choice is also Meatloaf.
Okay. That's the consensus so far.
Okay, we're ganging up on him now.
I know, I know. Ken, do you have
I've got the
a
power,
difference
though.
of
Don't
opinion?
forget
Maybe
that.
something more vegetarian in mind, or what?
Um, I like Sughosh. There's some on a couple of his choices I'm just not familiar with, so I'm not going to comment on those. Um, I think I
Yes.
whereas I do think Meatloaf um, is representative of um, a significant amount of what was going on in the 70s.
Yes.
Not my go-to, but if we're trying to represent the 70s, I think it's got its place. I think the one that I would veto would be 10cc.
Uh, Based on
Oh, um,
Well said.
it's well, yeah. I think it's um,
Can I chime in too, with my opinion about
sure.
this choice?
I'm
Go ahead.
for me, and like I say, for me,
Yes.
um, I think it, whereas it may represent what was going on in the 70s, I think it's a very, very small representation of some of the stuff that was going in the 70s.
yeah,
Not it,
I would have been prepared to argue that maybe I'm Not in Love by 10cc would be a pick just based on the kind of studio trickery that they used to
sure,
put that track
sure.
together with all the tape loops on different notes. And
Yeah,
rather than singing the backgrounds, they were just muting and unmuting tracks on the
yeah,
recording console. That kind of thing. Maybe you could argue for that's some kind of technological
sure.
foot
Now,
forward.
it is definitely representative of the band for sure,
Yeah.
because in the US, they only really had two, big, the two obvious big singles.
Yeah, the big singles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for me, whereas this song is representative of the band, the overall picture of the 70s, I think it's a very small representation. Whereas most of the others represent I think a fairly good size representation of what was going on overall.
Okay. My only quick comment about that, about Une Nuit à Paris, was that for me, when you think 10cc, you think, okay, I'm not in love, or,
Sure.
the things we do for love. I wanted to pick a track that for me was just unique, very intricate, very different, and just represented that at this point in time in
Yeah.
the 70s, in terms of production and songwriting and arrangements, nothing was off the table. I mean, you already had a year or two, 2 years before with, yes, with Tales from Topographic Oceans, four-sided LP with 4 songs. So I mean,
Yeah,
you know, there you go. I mean, so
yeah,
I just thought that this one track was quite unique, and I
sure.
love the track. I love the track.
And I think it's a track that, if anyone is only familiar with the two big hits, it's definitely a track I would recommend to seek out and listen to, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, it is a kind of an anomaly among
Yeah,
the rest of the album. So
yeah,
that's also another reason, but I just love the song. Okay,
yeah.
I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Okay, so if there's going to be a third that gets excised, that's up to me. And
I think I know where he's going.
I don't know. I'm vacillating between a couple of them.
Oh Lord.
Um, the two that I'm vacillating on are the April Wine tune and Tubular Bells. Um,
Oh boy.
the Yeah, I mean the April Wine tune to me just kind of doesn't rise up to the level of like essential stuff, and kind of comparing it to the other things on the list.
Hmm.
And Tubular Bells is just so long. I almost feel like it begins to wear out its welcome after
Okay.
16 minutes, let alone 26. um however, given that it is so intimately tied with, The Exorcist and that theme and whatnot, I think I'm gonna have to go with using my veto power on April Wine.
Okay.
Lord help me.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right. Turn in your honorary Canadian citizenship card.
Right.
All right.
This is where I just interject and say that when Monkey House, my band, first started, we were on the same label as April Wine for a minute there, both on
Aquarius. Yeah.
Aquarius. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I know some of those guys a little bit. I knew Miles a little bit. Like you said, he passed away recently. But
Rest in
anyway,
peace. Rest in
I
peace.
took I think I took that April Wine pick as let's just have a pure happy pop song on the list.
That's
Hmm.
exactly it. And to me,
And
it
I've
just,
I've got one on mine, so it's
yeah.
sort of in the same category. So
Okay. So
Yeah.
the
I
three
think that's
songs
good.
that I'm removing that would be removed are April Wine.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light,
Yes.
April Wine, and then 10cc.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But I will retain the actual playlist of year 20. And once I sort of create the combined list, I'll just leave off those three.
Duly noted.
I'd
Okay,
like,
so yes.
I was just going to say, um, as far as what we're trying to put together, the list we are trying, my perception of this, and please correct me if I'm the only one.
Hmm.
This isn't, what we're vetoing is not songs that we don't like. So
Right.
Armando, me picking 10cc isn't an attack of what you like. I'm
No,
looking
no,
at
I
the bigger
didn't
picture.
take it that way.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. And so, and I'm sure several of mine are going to take a hit too, and that's fine.
that's the
This
game.
is just this is just
That is the
my
game.
this
The
is
game's
my
afoot.
experience, because,
Don't hate the
for
player,
instance,
hate the
my
game.
experience is going to be different from Armando's and
Yeah.
Shugosh's, because these are my teen years. I'm not
Oh,
I'm
sweet
not looking
Jesus.
back from, oh, I discovered this later. I lived every single one of these songs, and
Yeah.
Thanks,
that
Grandpa.
hits different. Yeah,
These are his teen
No,
years, and I
no,
was just born.
no.
Oh
Well,
my.
I lived it too. This is all sort of
Oh,
junior high and high school and
oh,
yeah,
college
Yep.
music for me.
yeah.
oh, sweet
Anyway,
Jesus. Okay.
anyway,
So
Uh,
we are, thanks Ken for throwing that in. So we are now going to pivot to Don. Again, I blame him for the fact that we're doing this episode at all. And Don, please.
so okay, I better make it
I'm really
not too
curious.
painful then. Okay, I'm not going to give too much commentary on each track as we go, because I think most of them you guys know.
Yeah.
Just give me time to type it in.
Oh yeah, okay. Deacon Blues, Steely Dan. You knew there was going to be a Steely Dan. The only question was which
Which
one.
one?
Which one? Yep.
I've got Let It Be by the Beatles. I've got What's Going On by Marvin Gaye. I
All
have
right,
Hijra.
hang on. You're already like getting ahead of
Oh,
me here.
come on. You said you could tape 100 a minute.
No.
Okay,
So let so let
yeah,
it
what's
be
going
in
on?
what's going on. Yep.
As a masterpiece in itself, but also emblematic of the kind of right turn that soul music took at a certain point where people got out of their Motown finishing school contracts and got to kind of do what they wanted. Picking a Joni Mitchell song for me is tough, but I'm picking Hijira, the title track from her '76 album. You could argue that maybe something from Blue, like River, or Last Time I Saw Richard, or California, might be more era emblematic. But I'm just so into that Hajira record that that's the nature of that pick.
I get
I've
that.
got for my Genesis pick, I have Blood on the Rooftops from the album After Trick, and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John. I'm picking the title track, although I could sort of drop the needle almost anywhere on that record and find five-star greatness that I would want to put on some kind of list.
Even Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know what? It wouldn't be my first pick, but I like that song.
Okay.
I think that kind of song by Elton back in the day was like, even when it was a goofy idea and it kind of sounds like it took them about 3 hours to do, he was so in the zone melodically
Oh
that
yeah.
it's still hooky and fun, you know.
And who knows what
Hmm.
Yep.
substances were being imbibed. So
Not at all.
I've got from Aretha Franklin, I have Until You Come Back to Me, which is maybe her greatest vocal performance in my book, and it also happens to be a Stevie Wonder song.
yeah.
So its '70s credentials are pretty good.
Yep.
From
Bona
Led
fide.
Zeppelin 4, yes, I like Battle of Evermore too. I like all 8 of those songs in my bones, but I'm going to pick Stairway because it just looms large. It just seems like it's on the Mount Rushmore
Hmm.
'70s music. And although I was kind of like a lot of people, PTSD'd out of liking it for a while because of too much airplay and too many slow dances and all that. When I hear it now, it has returned to its former greatness. For Paul Simon, I have American Tune, which is from I think it's from his first solo album, and it was kind of him laying down the gauntlet and going, "Okay, you liked Simon and Garfunkel? Here we go. This is going to be some next level stuff now for the next little while."
Actually, There Goes Ryman Simon is what it was from.
Oh yes, from the second album. You're so right. I have Too High from Stevie Wonder, again, sort of in the category of that Marvin Gaye pick, which is Stevie kind of shakes off the shackles of being little Stevie Wonder and gets to play in the studio to his heart's content and write words about whatever he wants to write about.
Hmm.
Bowie, this will be an outside pick. There's lots of Bowie you could pick that's more obvious than this, but Diamond Dogs happens to be my favorite record of his. And although Rebel Rebel might be the obvious pick from that album, I love the medley of Sweet Thing, Candidate, and then there's a little reprise of Sweet Thing. And then usually among fans, that's considered one track. It's continuous. There's no break in the music for those three. And especially lyrically, I think that's his finest hour.
So hang
Yeah.
point of order, Mr. Bright, a point of
Yes.
order. So when we were kind of tossing out the rules and whatnot, I think this is something that may have been, overlooked. But I had put out there that if there's, tracks that are sort of banded together, it would
Mhm.
count as one, like Funeral for a Friend and Love Lies Bleeding. That
Yes.
is, has always been one tune as it's ever been
Yeah,
released on
hard to
record.
separate it. Yeah.
Yeah. However, for this particular, suite of Bowie songs, Sweet Thing, Candidate, and Sweet Things, They're actually three separate tracks.
There are three separate tracks on the record, but it's continuous music, and I guarantee you, any Bowie fan thinks of that as one piece of music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Okay.
that's that's
Apparently,
fine.
Jim
I'm
isn't
just
a Bowie fan.
no. It's not that.
If
It's not
you
that.
put your CD in of Yellow Brick Road, does Funeral for a Friend come up as a separate track from Love Lies Bleeding?
Nope,
No,
it's
it's one piece.
one 11 and a half minute track.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I can go to another Bowie song
No.
if this seems controversial. It just happens to be my favorite.
I put it to the panel. I mean, that's why I was trying to set the ground rules
What do you think,
earlier in the
guys?
week.
Yeah, no, I did observe that in your email, Jim, but in my mind, these three qualified. You know?
I say,
Mhm.
well, I say pick another track myself.
Okay.
But thank you, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Never mind.
No, I would go. Okay, if I have to go to another one, like a mid-70s Bowie track, I think I would go to the song "Stay," which is from Station to Station, like Armando's pick. Yeah, crazy groove and melody writing, unlike anything anybody was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Springsteen, I guess this is a relatively obvious pick, but Jungle Land.
Yeah.
Born to Run. James Taylor, I wanted to represent the singer-songwriter movement, much the way that Armando had Gordy Lightfoot in there. I have a song called Secret of Life by James Taylor from 77, I think, from the
JT, yeah.
JT album, yeah. And Ricky Lee Jones, I wanted to represent for the same reason, kind of the next generation of the Joni aesthetic, with maybe a little Susan, more jazz thrown in there. And I picked a song called Night Train, which is from her debut album. I think that might have been the B-side of Chucky's in Love. Chucky, everybody knows, but it feels at this point a little more novelty-ish than a lot of her more serious, poetic kind of stuff. Time for an instrumental track. I have Weather Report with A Remark You Made, which is a gorgeous Joe Zawinul ballad with Jocko playing these gorgeous melodies on fretless, sort of emblematic of, you know, fusion and that kind of post-jazz that was going on in the 70s. Straight up the middle with this one, classic rock, Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. I don't know when there's been a better all the way through long rock song than that. It's just, you know, nonstop entertainment. Earth, Wind and Fire, again, I could drop the needle in a lot of places and pick a favorite, but I have In the Stone, which is the opening track on I Am.
All right.
Which to me is maybe when they reach the height of their kind of precision funk, beautiful production.
In the Pocket.
Yeah, and David Foster was involved in that record. And then shortly after it, we can fight about David Foster if you want.
Oh boy. I don't have enough penicillin to get through that. I really don't. Okay, go on.
You think he's some kind of disease?
I plead the fifth. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not going.
Okay, I thought you liked that track though.
I love that song. I love that album.
Okay, well, thank you, David Foster, for playing keyboards on it.
Yep. No, I know.
Okay, so to represent something a little later in the decade and something from the kind of American punk palette, I have Life During Wartime by Talking Heads. That's right at the bitter end of the decade. I think it was fall of 79, maybe. not that's not the opening track, but it's one of the early tracks on Fear of Music, which was kind of their last album where they could lay claim to being a bit of a cult thing because the next record blew up. Another thing I wanted to represent was Philadelphia Soul, Philly Soul. So I have Backstabbers by the OJs. And finally, again, into falling into the one hit wonder kind of perfect pop song 45 kind of aesthetic that was such a big deal for much of the 70s. I have Brandy, You're a Fine Girl by the Looking Glass.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yes, more on that one in this fine book.
Oh my God, Brandy. Yeah, okay.
I
Right.
played
That
that in marching band.
one.
Oh my
Quit
gosh.
bragging. What was your
That
instrument?
that was my first time in marching band. It was Brandy and Vehicle.
All right.
Vehicle.
There you go.
There you go. All right. So,
Excellent.
Ken, while you since you spoke up and have the floor, is there anything from Don's list that you think needs a little pruning?
Let it be.
Let it be. You don't
Ooh,
want the Beatles on
Wow,
a
got
list?
real quiet there.
shot fired.
I where it's a very highly regarded song, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think there are many other Beatles tunes that would that played a little bit more of an influential part in the development of music, whereas I feel this is just for me, it's just a real popular song.
Well, I wouldn't argue that there are more influential Beatles songs, but the point is we only have one Beatles record that's in the 70s.
Sure. Okay,
So
good point.
I was picking, for me, it was either that or The Long and Winding Road.
Yeah, I would have picked the long and winding road, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Anyway, fair and square, veto.
Sughosh.
Again, there's a few I don't know. The ones I do know, I'm almost completely in agreement. If I had to drop something, it would probably be Brandy.
I knew someone would come after me for my little pop 45 from when I was 11 years old.
Ooh,
I
I'm in
think I
trouble.
Okay.
get the
I would
so
say
it's all fair.
I would say let it be for the reasons Ken stated. I mean, what Ken said basically. I mean,
What do you got, Jim?
him with your best shot. Go on. Fire
I'm
away.
I'm looking at the list, and again, there's a few of these I don't know, so I'm not really inclined to hit the nuke button just because I don't know them. Um,
Well, you can take
I,
them as highly recommended tracks from me then.
I think I don't have a second or a third one. I'm just gonna let it ride, and we'll see what happens when we cull this down to 70.
Right. There'll be more
Yeah.
pairing
More
to be
bloodletting.
done. Yes, right.
Awesome. All right. Don, thank you for that. Just for those of you keeping score at home, Don's list clocks in at 1 hour and 43 minutes. Um, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Armando's was so long just because of Mike Oldfield.
Yes, exactly.
You're
Exactly.
welcome.
Yeah.
Let us turn our attention east. Sughosh.
So the approach I took was to list out categories because I kind of felt like, first of all, picking favorites was too difficult, and if I started to pick favorites, it would be very, very me specific, and I wouldn't give enough, attention to the part about it being essential to the 70s. I still don't know how essential this is to the 70s, but I've tried to create some sort of a balance with my approach. So I've gone with 10 categories and I've picked a couple of songs in each category. So the first one I have is Pop Perfection. These are just like perfectly produced, perfectly performed earworms that you can't get sick of even if they're played to death. And my two choices in this category are ABBA with Mamma Mia and Fleetwood Mac with Go Your Own Way. I don't think anything needs to be said about either. They're just perfect pop songs. Next up, we have the singer-songwriter movement. And the two songs I've gone for here not only are great examples of the movement itself, but also from a perspective of significance in the 70s. They also represent some historical context in that both of them refer to real life events and capture the essence of those events in very remarkable ways. So I've gone with Joni Mitchell, Woodstock, and Gordon Lightfoot with the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Ooh.
Next up, we have soul. It's not a genre I know very much about, but there are certainly at least a couple of absolutely essential artists who need to be mentioned here. So I've gone with Pastime Paradise by Stevie Wonder and Inner City Blues by Marvin Gaye. Both, as Don pointed out earlier, shining examples of what happens when soul guys drop the single mode and go serious, taking it into territories of social commentary, protest, whatever you want to call it. But both of these songs capture that zone of soul music wonderfully. Next up, I have punk and new wave, basically one of each. So for punk, I have The Clash with the ultimate anthem, London Calling. And for new wave, I've gone with Elvis Costello, Oliver's Army. Again, the you know guidebook on how to write a political pop song. It doesn't get better than Oliver's Army.
Yeah.
Next up is prog rock, and the two songs I've picked, in my opinion, are a little less of the conventional excess that you associate with prog rock. They definitely display the musicianship. There's definitely intricacy in the composition, but I think, at least to me personally, both of these have sufficient hooks and readily recognizable parts for them to like be a good representative of prog rock without getting into, oh, this is too long or this is too boring. So my picks are Genesis with Firth of Fifth and Yes with Starship Trooper. On to art rock. This is a slightly vague categorization, so I've managed to squeeze three songs into this one. They're broadly classifiable as art rock, but they represent the idea of art rock in different ways. So one goes all eerie and dystopian and decadent, if you will, and that's Roxy Music with "In Every Dream Home a Heartache." Another one is like all drama and build up and very very powerful in the way it progresses, and that's David Bowie with "Life on Mars." And the third one is just a completely unique space. I didn't know where to classify this one, but I definitely didn't want to put it in punk. So it's over here. It's Television with Marky Moon. Next up, I have classic rock anthems. Yeah, the ones we're all sick of, but we're not sick of, if you know what I mean. Both of these I consider essential tracks of the 70s. There are, of course, as any listener of classic rock radio knows, there are at least about a dozen more that will not let go of the airspace. But to me, these two represent the best of the rock anthems because apart from being those big arena filling songs, they also have something quirky, something off the beaten track to keep you interested and not just rely on the big riffs and big vocals. So the ones I've got are The Who with Baba O'Reilly and Led Zeppelin with Kashmir. Moving on to, well, this is a categorization that where I push my personal favorites, which may or may not appeal or indeed be in the zone of everyone else. But this is folk rock, and I've picked two artists who have taken folk rock beyond, conventional notions of what that ought to mean. And both of these are like borderline progressive because they're both epic tracks, well over 7 minutes. I think one clocks in at 11 and something, the other is about 8 and something. Both epic in their own way. Both explore, the storytelling aspects in a way that's very unconventional, very interesting, and takes the genre forward. So I have Roy Harper with Me and My Woman, and Richard and Linda Thompson with Night Comes In. And the next category is one I have specifically again created with the purpose of squeezing a couple of favorites in. This category I call Unappreciated Genius. So these are artists that didn't get their due, should have been bigger, should have, you know, been more significant as representatives of the 70s rather than afterthoughts, which they ended up being in later decades. So I have Nick Drake with At the Chime of a City Clock and Judy Sill with The Donor. And I have one track left, which is on a category all of its own because I didn't know where to place them. They don't sound like anybody else.
Hey, Sughosh, hang on. Before we get there, what's the name of that Judy Sill track?
The Donor.
No, the donor.
The Donor. Okay, thank you.
So my last track is in the electronic genre, and it's Space Lab by Kraftwerk.
I've never heard a Kraftwerk album.
Wow,
So,
you need to. At least this
oh,
one
I
you
will.
need.
There you go. There you
There you
go.
are.
There you go.
Okay, cool
You
list,
betcha.
Sughosh.
Whew.
Let us start with Armando. Any from
Must we?
this? Yes, we must.
I honestly cannot make a pick here because some of this stuff, some of the songs you mentioned, I have not heard, so I can't honestly make a pick. It's a good list, so I don't want to pick something that I haven't heard before. So um,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
not right.
Alrighty. Fair enough. Don.
Yes.
Yeah, great picks.
Yeah.
For example, Oliver's Army was my number 21. It was hovering around the list, but I kind of had the feeling that it might show up on Bricker's list or some Elvis anyway. And Firth of Fifth was my second choice for Genesis, and we have a lot of close things there. Kashmir. I have one small quibble with the Kraftwerk thing might be that maybe Autobahn is a little bit more like the moment where they appeared for real in people's consciousness and kind of laid down the gauntlet and said, yes, we're making kind of rock derived music with nothing but gizmos, and that, we're still living in the aftermath of that now, when you look at what EDM has meant to the last 20 years of pop music. However, I have to be a meanie again, and just for no better reason than I've always been allergic to the point of violently opposed to it, is I'm taking ABBA off the list.
I knew it.
It was
I knew it.
It just has always rubbed me the wrong way. And
what do you have
so
against
much
melody?
What's that?
What do you have against melody? That's all I'm gonna say.
Melodical songs, yeah.
You're talking
Melodical
to the world's
songs.
you're talking to the world's biggest Paul McCartney and Elton John fan. So that's a simple
Okay. All
question.
right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
What do you have
I
against
think
what do
it's-
you have against Sweden?
There you go.
That's nothing against Sweden. Some of my favorite power pop is from Sweden.
There you
Oh,
go.
Lord.
I don't know. I can't explain it. It strikes me as just pop music cooked up by aliens to please Earthlings.
Oh,
I just don't
Lord.
feel anything from it. ever, and I never have.
Please continue.
Good idea.
Ken.
As previously stated, there's only a couple here that I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to take those off the table. I really don't have a problem with any of these. I understand Don's choice of ABBA. They are definitely not a go-to of mine. However, as a representative of what was going on in music during the 70s, they got a big chunk of it. So it is representative whether I like it or not. But yeah, I've got no bone to pick with this list.
We should do an
Yeah,
episode.
It's an
My
excellent
problem
list.
with ABBA. We should do an episode. My problem with ABBA.
ABBA versus
Don.
Taylor Swift.
No, I mean, I don't know what I would say in that episode other than
Whatever's on your mind.
if you don't already know, I can't help you.
Wouldn't want you to hold back there, Don.
No.
Okay.
I have no dog in the Sughosh's list. I mean, there's a couple of these that I don't know, you know, but I'm not gonna excise them just because I don't know them. So I like Ken have nothing that I would remove. So from a veto power standpoint, Mamma Mia gets the axe. Otherwise,
Okay.
well, yes.
No, I'm just
He's saying you're bitching for what you just did.
I'm
good.
saying hell yeah to what you just said.
Okay.
You're bitching for what you just did.
Fair
Rock
enough.
on, man. Rock on. Okay, go on.
Mr. Cheshire, now it's time for your 20.
You know, I'm looking at my list and it just occurred to me, this looks like a Time Life compilation.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay.
My list consists of a fair amount of obvious choices, I think, and I'm probably going to be, unless Jim surprises us, I'm going to be the poster boy for one hit wonders here. So I'm going chronologically. I've got 6 from 1970. Green Eyed Lady, Sugarloaf. This is just this is just some clever songwriting here. There's nothing deep about it, but holy cow, how many hooks can you fit into a 4.5 minute song?
Yeah, and I might say that as a little kid when that came out, it was one of the first 45s I bought, and might be the reason I'm a keyboard player today.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So anyway, Sugarloaf, Green Eyed Lady. The second one, Layla, Derek and the Dominoes. I mean, you know, Clapton. I mean, the whole band is just knocking it out the park.
Yeah.
Even though Dwayne didn't play on every track on this album, that's okay. The ones that he's not playing on are not lacking. And to come out with a double album where, for me, all the songs just crack. And this is one of those songs that's got such a good opening riff. I made a ringtone out of it for my phone. And
oh my God.
in public, I've gotten a few attaboys. You know, when my phone would go off, and like people would look around, hey, you know. But anyway, Derek and the Dominoes. The next one, Ride, Captain Ride, Blues Image. Like I said, kind of the same category as Green Eyed Lady. Another one hit wonder, very, very catchy. And for me, when I look at this list, I can hear the songs in my head, not just in my head, but it sounds like it's coming off of a radio in my head, because that's where it is. Number 4, another Captain song, I'm Your Captain, Grand Funk Railroad. I know a lot of fans, of course, this is earlier Grand Funk. like they're harder hitting, but this is just so melodical and melodically loaded. Um, uh, it's crazy, and catchy guitar riffs that are very simple. That rhythm guitar is just it's just a D chord with a suspended in. Anyway, number 5, Van the Man, Moondance, Van Morrison. I literally could have picked any song off of this album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Mhm.
But I choose this because it represents kind of the jazz and blues feeling in Ireland at the time. It's a double representation for me. The last one for 1970, I'm going to bring a little bit of soul in here. Rainy Night in Georgia, Brooke Benton.
Yeah.
I mean, this is if this is the only good feeling song in the world, it would still carry a lot of weight. It's just incredible. Jumping to 1971, Hold Your Head Up, Argent. Oh, I love me some good organ. And this is some very good organ, I tell you.
Said the actress to the bishop.
Yes, I started to say big organ, but I'm going to go with good organ.
Put that joke to bed, okay? Just put that joke to bed.
Again,
Yeah, I would, Ken, I would say the worst thing about Hold Your Head Up, the single edit, was they took that almost the whole organ solo out of it.
it doesn't exist in my brain.
Yes, that's
A
good.
single edit, and we've covered that many. Okay, we'll get to this in a minute. Number 2 for 1971, Riders on the Storm, The Doors.
What year did you say?
Riders on the Storm.
No, what year?
71.
Oh, I'm in 1971 now.
Okay, you're still in 71.
We
Gotcha.
got 5 in 71. This is number 2. Whereas this is not their most popular. Between this, it was my choice between this and The End because they are so epic in scope. But Riders on the Storm, back in the day, I used to eat breakfast frequently at a Waffle House close to my house, and they had this on the jukebox. In addition to I would play it every single time I went, but especially if it was storming outside, it just seemed so apropos. I was tempted just to play it over and over again.
So Ken, I just want to verify that half of your list comes from 70 and 71.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would point out that The End by The Doors is from the 60s. So
yeah, 67.
Sure.
You didn't have it there anyway.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, as far as my favorite songs.
Red card.
Yes, I know. 19 number 3, 1971, Maggie May, Rod Stewart.
Ah, old reliable. I like that.
Yeah, it just like Sughosh mentioned on several of his, I will never tire of this song. And especially the album version with the intro, with the acoustic intro. It's gotta be there. It's just gotta be there.
Mhm.
This was just the band playing at their peak. Great performance, great songwriting. Rod Stewart, when he was singing rock and roll before he went dark side. Number 4, Tiny Dancer, Elton John.
At least you didn't say Tony Danza, which is what they think it is.
That's right. Hold me closer.
Tony Danza. Okay,
It's
go
just
on.
there's a reason why this song hits so hard when you get to that scene in Almost Famous. It just it communicates things that are not in the lyrics and in the words. It's just when Elton John was just really doing music brilliantly. I had another one I started to add, but I thought, no, I'm going to stick with this one. Anyway, number 71, we have our first duplication. Won't Get Fooled Again by The Who. I feel that Baba O'Reilly is getting a lot more recognition as time goes by, but I stick by this one.
The full version, not the single.
Also, Don,
Yeah.
have you heard the 45 edit?
Of Won't Get Fooled Again?
Yes.
Oh, of course. That's what was on the radio when I was a kid. But I very, very quickly, like, I think Who's Next might have been the third LP that I bought. So I very quickly had the full length version.
Yeah.
And digested that. And at the time I was a little beginning drummer. So I used to put on the headphones and bash away with Keith.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Time to jump to a whole year ahead to 1972. The song represents optometry.
Doctor My Eyes.
Yes, it is. Dr. My Eyes, Jackson Browne, one of the greatest singer-songwriters of the 70s.
The reason I had that on the tip of my tongue was that it almost made my list too.
It's, he's got so many songs to choose from, but this is just so recognizable. I could have gone with over a dozen of his deeper album tracks.
Yeah, These Days.
Oh yeah. Oh, not right. What was he 16 when he wrote that?
I know, crazy.
Give me a freaking break.
But Dr. My Eyes,
anyway,
with that groove and that guitar solo and everything, it's just such a great band track.
I know. Jumping ahead to number 2 for 72, Todd Rundgren, I Saw the Light. Big Todd Rundgren fan here, but again, using the Sughosh, I will never tire this song. So, and as big a Todd Rundgren fan as I am, for a lot of his catalog, for me, it's hit or miss. But man, when it hits, it makes up for a lot of the misses.
It's hard, yeah.
Jeez. 1972. Get Your Soul On. Me and Mrs. Jones, Billy Paul. Ooh. Yeah.
That was, when I mentioned Philly Soul, that this was my second choice.
Such a
yeah.
Okay. In the similar vein, the last one for 1972, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, The Temptations. Wherever he laid his hat, that's my home. Yep, it's just along with your choice, Don. It's just it just hits hard, for a
right, and that continues the theme of like Motown songs that started to kind of address what was really going on in the world instead of so we all dance now.
Yeah. But it doesn't lose its catchiness.
That's right.
Yeah. And they could really sell it.
And Ken, just a quick point of order. I assume you mean the 12-minute version.
Is there anything else?
There is. Again, singles, radio. Sure. All right. Okay.
No, not up here. There's no.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're jumping to 1974. One choice for 1974. Pick Up the Pieces, Average White Band. This was this was a little bit mind-blowing at the time, because I had a friend. He was 1 year ahead of me in high school. He was a saxophone player. His head nearly exploded when this song came out, because something I can play. It's like, yeah, no, he wasn't that good a sax player, and still, there was question. Average White Band, well, were they really white to be this soulful? Is this a joke for the band name? No.
I almost bought the box set.
Yeah, and
almost did.
This and
More,
Cut the
more than
Cake.
just white, they were Scottish.
That's right. They were very white. Yeah. This
Jesus
and their
Christ.
single Cut the Cake. Oh man, this was played all over the place in high school. Anyway, jumping across to 1975, which is one of my represents one of my shameful um, epiphanies over the last few years. Ozark Mountain Daredevils with Jackie Blue. I love this song. And it wasn't
Okay.
until the last 10 years that I realized the lead singer was a guy. I had always
Really?
thought it was a woman
You thought
because
it was
of high
okay.
tessitura.
Yeah,
And
it's the whole lead vocal's falsetto, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think he was singing falsetto. He just has that
That's just where
high.
his voice was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that
Tessitura a lot. Yeah.
I think that was his register at the time, like
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
I think you'll find that was a falsetto, but I'm not going
Okay.
to mattress
Okay.
over it.
Well, it's a very smooth, full-bodied falsetto, if so. So maybe so. I don't know.
I'll just throw in a bit of meaningless trivia, which is that song, Jackie Blue, and Ride Captain Ride, which he also picked.
Mhm.
And what's the other one? How long has this been going on?
Mhm.
Those
Paul
three
Carrack.
songs are the three songs not by Steely Dan that are most often confused with Steely Dan. Yeah, there was a list a few years ago.
I could see how long, but okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
I never confused anything with Steely Dan, so I
Well,
just
I don't think any Steely Dan fan would make that mistake.
no, this
But
we're talking general public, I think.
that is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Anyway,
I think Paul Carrack would be proud. So there you go. All right, 1977. Here's where, Jim, you're going to have to make a judgment. Elvis Costello. To me, this is one song, even though it's tracked as two. Welcome to the Working Week and Miracle Man.
Which one would you like?
Oh, poo.
yeah, I think if you disqualified my Bowie,
Yeah,
you got to pick one of these.
yeah.
That's my pick.
I'm going with Welcome to the Working Week.
Okay.
It's like what, a minute 45 or something like
That's
that.
a minute 23.
23.
But who's counting?
But it's the
You
opening
obviously.
track. Yeah, it's the opening track on the very first Elvis Costello album. This song is not only fantastic, but this was a harbinger.
Yes.
This was a harbinger song. It's maybe not the best track on the album, but you put the needle down on this for the first time and your mind is blown. It's like, okay, a new gauntlet has been thrown down. Here we go. For the next 8 Costello albums that are gonna, in my life, rule the world. But anyway, so Welcome to the Working Week, Elvis Costello, and his backing band, Clover. Yes, which contain many members of
Huey Lewis and the News.
Huey Lewis and the
That's
News.
right.
Yep.
Minus Huey. Okay, my penultimate song, 1978, Journey with Wheel in the Sky.
That's such a great guitar riff.
Yeah, my senior year of graduation, Armando.
Oh Lord!
I was playing in a band at the time, and
I was
this
8
album,
years old. Shut up!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And this album really, really caught our attention as a band. And this song has always stuck in my head. This was before, all the sappy power ballads and all of that.
Yeah.
And the way they down mixed the lead vocals, so it wasn't just in your face, it gave the other instruments a chance to fill out. And what they did with the harmonies in this.
Roy Thomas Baker produced that, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
That and Evolution a year later. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Wheel in the Sky, just always. This and Lights are two of my favorite, Journey songs. But
Rest in peace, Roy Thomas Baker.
I know this was my favorite era of Journey. So Wheel in the Sky, 1979. I defy anyone else to have this on their list. Bram Tchaikovsky, Girl of My Dreams. Incredible, power pop. Um, uh, I just have very few words. A band that didn't last very long, but their album, Strange Man, Changed Man, is just so incredible catchy from one end to the other. We call it power pop now. We didn't have that categorization growing up. Um, so, but I really do love me some good power pop, and this is such a little known song for these days. It's probably my dark horse in the whole list, but there you go. That's my list.
Solid. Let's
One,
start with the Sughosh. Anything to excise from that?
Well, there's quite a few I don't know. I'm not familiar with a lot of the one-hit wonders and stuff.
Okay.
Although I've heard Bram Tchaikovsky, and that's a great song. Uh,
see, I haven't heard that, so I gotta check that out.
Borderline about Journey. I'm not really a fan, but I can't kind of deny that they're a part of the whole 70s AOR thing. So, no, I won't go that far. I think I'm just good with this list.
Cool. Don.
Yeah, I mean, the Journey thing, I would argue, is maybe better represented by Forget Who Chose More Than a Feeling. Was that you, Armando?
Yep.
Yeah.
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 So that's that kind of what we used to think of as corporate rock AOR kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, Journey, when they started out, was a little bit more of a blues-based sort of hard
Yeah.
rock band, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially the first
maybe
two albums.
Boston belongs in that slot. I wouldn't veto it over that though. Lots of great picks that I can relate to, being a similar vintage.
Similar vintage. Okay, that's a good way to put it.
What did I want to say? Oh yeah, that Brooke Benton song. What a song. Ken, I don't know if you've heard Boz Scaggs did a record a few years ago that Steve Jordan produced called Memphis, and
Yep.
he covered that song on that record,
Yep.
and just a gorgeous
Yeah.
take on it. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, what you said about Todd Rundgren is just so true. It's a rare Todd album where you go through the whole thing and like every track, but the one that every record seemed to have like at least one kind of A plus on it that would keep you coming back.
I think Hermit of Mink Hollow was as close as he got for me.
Me too. I agree. That was just it was concise and consistent and catchy all the way through. And I always say that if anything had been a single album, it might have
Yes.
taken over the
Yes.
world,
Yes.
Yep.
Anyway, no vetoes from me.
Okay.
I also have no vetoes, but Armando.
Neither do I.
Okay. Look at that.
Oh, slam dunk Ken.
We'll see how many of those survive to the final
I
70.
know.
Okay.
So the time life compilation method worked for me. Okay.
It did. It did.
Considering I think I have all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, so that leaves me. I have my list all put together. I did try to kind of pick things that I think epitomized touchstones of the 70s. There are a couple of repeats in here, and I can already
Good.
predict one that will hit the cutting room floor rather hard and rather quickly. So let's go through. We are starting off with Badfinger, No Matter What, because I mean it's freaking perfect.
It's Badfinger.
It is Badfinger. That's
There
right.
you go.
Yeah, can I just say one thing about that? Great pick. I also love No Matter What by those guys as a, from that era. But in a way, that's a more apropos pick for the 70s than me picking Let It Be, because so much of the 70s was about the aftermath of the Beatles, not the Beatles.
That's
Okay.
right.
Hmm.
That's right.
And Badfinger's definitely that.
Hmm.
Where have I read something about the aftermath of the Beatles?
You got it right
I
there. Yeah.
wonder.
I
I
believe the
wonder.
chapter title is The Long Unwinding Road.
Okay.
You
Very
would think he
good.
wrote. You would think he wrote the book.
You
Well,
would
he
think.
did. He did. Okay, go
Anyway,
on.
sorry to interrupt, Jim. What's
Not a
number two?
problem. Not a problem. So I am I'm going to quickly move on to number two. I think this is also 1970 from Mr. Neil Diamond from Taproot Manuscript. I got to go Cracklin' Rosie. That chorus is just undeniably awesome.
Yep.
Um, I'm going to take a hard left turn over to the UK, and I'm going for Black Sabbath's Paranoid album, and I'm dropping War Pigs in there
Whoo!
because
Okay.
nothing kind of screams metal to me more than War Pigs.
And that
That is
that
definitely a shots fired song.
that D tuning, like down tuning from
Hmm.
Iommi. Whoo, hoo,
It's
hoo, hoo,
just
hoo, hoo.
savage.
Okay.
Um, I'm going to stick in the UK for my fourth pick, 1971. This is not my favorite track on the album, but it's really undeniable, and I think it's kind of essential to the 70s. I am going with Sticky Fingers, and I am picking Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, sticking in the UK, and again, 1971. Here's another repeat. This was on Armando's list, going with Roundabout by Yes to represent the prog world. I
Yes.
think this is just, although I would probably make a case of things like, Close to the Edge, Supper's Ready, Starless, maybe Echoes sort of being, better, prog songs. I just think that nothing sort of threads all needles um, of just fantasticness other than Roundabout, from performance to composition to the arrangement. I mean, it's just 8.5 minutes of just perfection. Love
And
me some Roundabout.
originality. I mean, that there was just nothing like that leading up to that track. It was like they reinvented the wheel. You know,
Hmm. And a lot of love for Starship Trooper that was mentioned on someone else's list. That was amazing. My number six choice, sticking in 1971. I am shocked. Shocked,
shocked, I
gentlemen.
tell you.
Shocked, I tell you. There's gambling going on here. That this woman has not been mentioned on this list. I'm
Carol King.
talking Tapestry. I'm talking Carole King, and I'm going with It's Too Late
It was on
because
my short list.
it was on the short list. Well, I'm glad I got Carol
It's on the
represented
list
here.
now.
It is on the list now, exactly. Um, Sticking in the singer-songwriter vein, and I'm going to move my screen a little bit so I can see Ken's reaction to this one. I'm going with Jim Croce, and I'm going with Operator.
Oh,
Love that song.
There you go. Ken, I'm shocked you're not weeping in a heap right now.
It makes me cry.
There we go.
I mean,
There we
I've been
go.
there.
that's the sign of a good song. I mean,
Darn right.
it's if it brings out that much emotion.
Yeah.
Hello.
It,
Oh,
I remember arriving at school one day in eighth grade and having someone tell me that all those guys had died, which was, I think that song was almost current at the time.
hmm. Yeah.
Horrible.
Very horrible. Um, Number eight for me, I am going with the soul direction here, finally. I'm going with the Spinners from I think it's their debut album. I'm going with I'll Be Around.
Ooh,
Yeah.
talk about an ass shaker.
Absolutely. It absolutely is.
Five
When you
star.
Um,
when you want your ass shook, listen to some Spinners. Go ahead.
darn right. Here's another repeat, number nine, title track from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Um, you know, I think my favorite track off that album is probably Harmony, the last track, but there's just something that feels more quintessential 70s, about the title track. So that's what I went with that one.
I'll just interject
Um,
and say I love that. I love Harmony too. And Gus Dudgeon said that they were putting out records so fast back then that there wasn't time for a third single from Yellow Brick Road. But he said it would have been that.
it would have been Harmony. Okay. The other two were the title track and what Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
And oh no, I guess that would have been a fourth single because Benny and the Jets as well,
Yeah,
right?
Oh,
Benny
of
and the
course.
Jets is
Yeah.
also
And
Candle in the
a
Wind.
lot of
So
people think Candle in the Wind was a single, but it wasn't.
actually, okay,
It was a
no, okay,
B-side.
It was
Yeah.
later, yeah.
all right, okay, all right. My
Okay.
bad. All right.
Yeah. That's
Anyway,
your one mistake, Armando. You have no more
My
mistakes left.
one mistake.
yeah, if
Okay.
there's another one, your screen just goes black.
There you go.
But
Our host
but remember,
disappears.
Well,
but
it
Yes.
is
remember,
very
Jim,
melodical. Okay, let's go there, right? If you want to go there, the
but
word of the day
remember,
is melodical.
but remember, Armando has has the power to edit this video.
There you go. There you go. Don's list out the door. Okay. Go on.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Go on. Go on.
Okay.
I
This
wouldn't do that.
gentleman has been mentioned a couple of times, but I think this may be, in my opinion, the most essential 70s track from him. I'm going with Stevie Wonder. I'm going with Talking Book. I'm going with the Jeff Beck co-written Superstition. It don't get much more badass than that.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Yeah.
Um, okay, you knew these guys were going to show up on my list. Steely Dan, Ricky, don't lose that number.
Oh, what a surprise. Go on.
Yes, I know.
I've
I
heard of
know.
them, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I do recall. Yeah.
Shocker for those who think I would choose something from Asia, but I don't. Ricky just feels more 1970s to me, as high esteem of which I the Asia album.
Don't take that shirt off, please. Go on.
No, I'm not. Let's keep this G rated, except for the language.
Mhm.
Number 12 for me.
Fucking right. Go
Thank you. We
on.
had Jungle Land drop earlier, but I'm going to drop the title track to Born to Run as uh, as my contribution here. Speaking of contributions, my number 13 touches on a genre that has been kind of unrepresented thus far, if my memory serves correctly. Dudes, where's the disco songs?
I was gonna go disco, but
Well, you
I didn't.
didn't.
I didn't
And
want to
I'm
get
and I'm
picked
dropping I
on.
Feel Love by Donna Summer as being
Whoo! Mm,
the representation of that.
mm,
However,
mm.
the one right after that, again, which I think is destined for the cutting room floor, also kind of represents the disco aspect of things, and that's Dancing Queen by ABBA. So I already know what I'm going to write down for Don's decision to. I know, I know. I had such promise
Friday night and the
until I
lights are
chose
low.
that.
No,
That's
you know
right.
what? And when I've talked about ABBA and various other bands to people, um, eventually you just have to say, well, that's not my flavor. I'm allergic to that. It hurts my heart. And I can't tell you why, but that's just how I feel about those crazy Swedes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, I've got six left. My number 15 choice is the ultimate ocean spray skateboarding song, and that's Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Um, this next one is also from a 1977 album, and this is one of the poster children that I kind of went back and forth with Don on when we were sort of talking about, well, does it have to be stuff that was on the singles chart? Could they be album tracks? This to me, is a track that just kind of as time goes on, it really sort of identifies the 70s and has just sort of become tied, you know, musically it just, when I think of the 70s, I can't help but think of this song very quickly. And that is the final track of side one from The Stranger, which
I
is
knew
Scenes
you were
from an
going
Italian
there.
Restaurant.
Yeah.
You went there.
I did go there. Um, Four left for me. Don, you had an Earth, Wind, and Fire track earlier,
Yeah.
and
In the stone, yeah.
yes, and much in the way that you kind of feel like Badfinger kind of represents the Beatles. I'm picking with another band that represents Earth, Wind, and Fire, and that is Best of My Love by The Emotions.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I,
damn.
I just love how that sounds coming out of a crappy AM radio speaker. It's so beautiful.
Ass
Oh,
shaker
God, I
galore,
love that
man.
tune.
Yeah. And
Holy
produced by
shit.
Maurice White, right?
That's
Yes,
right. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Oh my God.
absolutely.
Props.
Okay, now
Props.
we're getting into the new wave era, finally, since we sort of reached that part of the decade. Um, I am going with Just What I Needed by the Cars. And then I'm going with I don't know if this is a dark horse. And I sort of vacillated between this particular tune and Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. But I went with this choice because I think it's just I think it's power pop perfection with a really savage, kind of punk new wavy edge. And I'm going to wait for Don to come back. Uh-oh. Is Don getting props?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Coming back.
Earth to dawn. Earth to dawn.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of another way to fill this in. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brief interlude is brought to you by. Go on.
That's true.
Just,
Well, I kind of want to wait so, Don can have it so he knows what he's going to veto. Um,
you're
I
so
don't
sure he's
know.
going to veto?
Sorry, guys.
No, not a problem.
Somebody
Not a
was at the
problem.
door. I couldn't ignore it.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I don't think Don's going to veto this because I know he's going to wield his veto power on Dancing Queen. But this is Ever Fallen in Love with Someone You Shouldn't Have Fallen in Love with by the Buzzcocks.
That's the first tune today that I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Have to
dang.
look into it.
Um, it's Don. It's just it's perfect. It is such a
You
perfect
made that
track.
same noise that Ken kept making.
It's like,
Yes.
oh,
Oh,
oh.
it's the old man noise.
No offense, but
Um,
when I hear that noise, I kind of run away. I
okay, all
run
right,
when I
you
hear
do
that
that.
noise. So I get you, though. I understand.
Okay, my number 20, taking a turn from the new wave punk edge and going just full on dance, uh, soul, undeniable funk of Good Times by Chic. Again, something else that I'm kind of surprised hasn't appeared on the list until now, but there
Yeah,
it is.
Hey,
that's
I,
essential. That groove and that band, that rhythm section, absolutely integral to the 70s.
yep,
Yep,
yep.
yep. So, have at it, gentlemen. Don, you're first up, and I think I already know where you're going.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just a big meanie, but yeah, you can take ABBA off if I have a say in anything. Um, great picks though. My one little quibble is that Superstition was not actually co-written.
Oh, it wasn't. Was it fully
No,
written?
it was Stevie wrote it for Jeff Beck,
Oh, that's right.
That's
and
right.
Beck, I guess, didn't feel like it fit into his thing at the time, and so Plan A was for Beck to record it. Excuse me, and Stevie sort of, I think, probably couldn't believe, dude, I just gave you a classic. What do you mean you don't want to record it? Um,
It wouldn't have been the same.
And I'll just throw in that I had last year one of the weirdest arranging assignments that I've ever had, which was somebody wanted a jazz quintet version of War Pigs, which I completed and
You're
demoed.
kidding me.
Apparently, there's plans for the person to record it. So when that happens, I'll let
Wow.
you hear it.
Yeah, please, please do.
Yeah.
Hats off to picking War Pigs. I mean,
Yes, there are so many questions I have, but we'll sort of let that
I
fall.
didn't think you
Well,
had it in
when
you.
you think about how big a chunk of the 70s heavy metal was, you sort of have to tip the hat to the originators.
Yeah, yeah,
And the fact that Tony Iommi doesn't, or that the band didn't think of themselves as heavy metal.
Well, how could they? It didn't exist until they thought of it.
there you go.
You know,
Very true.
I think they would have said we're just a blues rock band or something, you know.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what they said. They were a blues-based rock band. So,
Right.
all right.
Okay. Sughosh, any vetoes?
Well, you know, I'm not going to veto ABBA, so you're safe.
Yes. But Don already has, so it's gone.
No complaints from my side. There's again probably a couple that I don't know. Good picks on the Carol King, and especially good pick on the Neil Diamond. I just came away from watching Songs on Blue today, and I was once again reminded of just what a great songwriter Neil was when he put himself to it. I mean, he may not have the most wonderful discography as a whole, but there's a chunk of songs out there that are absolute drop dead classics, and
Yeah.
Crackling Rosie is one of them. Also, we've been through all five lists now and no mention of Pink Floyd. So, all right, give yourself a hand.
Yeah, because you would think Pink Floyd for the 70s would be the go-to, but
Yep.
no.
Very nice.
Yes, that's right. We may be the first 70s list that doesn't have them on it.
Okay.
There's lots
Unessential.
of Pink Floyd that I love, by the way, but it doesn't approach my favorite Genesis.
There you go.
Yeah.
Duly
There you go.
noted. Duly noted.
Armando.
No,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. Really.
Mr. Cheshire.
Whereas a few of these tracks wouldn't be categorized as my favorite, I do think they are representative.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So let it be known for the record that only Ken has a list that was remained pure and unscathed with deletions and eliminations. So
As pure as the driven snow. Is that what you want to say?
that's exactly what I'm saying.
There you go.
However, I would say even though ABBA has gotten some derision here, it's possible if it hadn't have been for ABBA, there would have been no release in 1982 called "There's Something Going On" by Frida,
Produced by Phil Collins.
which
That's
is
right.
I love that song. But anyway,
And Hugh Padgham. Go on. I
there
know.
you go. Yep.
And
know
I
what you said.
think Elvis Costello has said that the octave piano parts in Oliver's Army are inspired by Dancing Queen. So
Yep.
Yes, that's
You know.
true.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the point in our discussion here where we've all put our stuff out there. We've had stuff savagely beaten into submission and cowered into a corner. And now we have to sort of come back and figure out how we're going to whittle this list down to 70. 70 in the 70s. See what we're doing there? I credit Don for that one. So come back to a future episode of the Music Den, and I'm sure that will be coming up a few days after this one drops, and you can see us wrestle and wrangle and some other W word that sounds like it begins with R as we come down to a list of just the 70s tunes.
And I would also like to point out this will be our, I believe, our first cliffhanger episode.
Ooh.
Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, hopefully in listening to this list of songs, Hopefully, you will find something that maybe, just maybe, you haven't heard yet if you've been living in a cave for the last X amount of years. But that's another issue altogether.
There we go.
So,
And I would like to say thank you ahead of time for all the work that Armando is going to have to do to find album covers and 45 covers to display for all 100 of these
you
songs.
can, all of you four can send your cash donation to
Okay.
dot, dot, dot. Anyways,
Does it have to be that funny Canadian money?
uh, it won't be
I've
that
already
play
sent them
money.
one.
It won't be that play
Hey,
money that someone sent me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for the conclusion of this episode, and we'll be back to you as soon as we can. As soon as we put it together, you'll have it. All right? For the gang, I'm Armando signing off. Look after yourselves and one another. Thank you to Jim for hosting this expanded episode of Essential 70s Playlist. We will be back with the conclusion very soon. Take care. Have a great day. Bye for now.